Alright, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is davidgoldd, as now know. Now welcome to Coco Radio and Television Station. Station where they given a back to back as they happen and as it is suburb for the Obodo, Nigeria. Still on top of this political analysis and on top of this Bola Ahmed administration where they happen and on top most of these controversial statements that is trending here and there on top of the one term that Peter Obi said he's going to do if he become a president. He will only do 4 years one time and he will hand over. On top of this matter, Kenneth Onkoko don't come on top of it. They say, what Peter Obi said is not a bad to say. According to Constitution, it is a constitutional law that he followed. And as so it's supposed to be, that the Constitution has also said a president and a governor said it should be 4 years and over. So, we watch, we listen to Kenneth Onkoko as I play this video for you to see if what he say is according to the Constitution is right, and why is our president and our governors of these days they do 8 years. The reason it will shock you. So if you have not subscribed to this video, try as much as possible make it a subscribe. Maybe if they hear the Coco, they did their camo. Watch the video. We'll be right back.
First and foremost, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria made it clear in section 135 subsection 2 and section 180 subsection 2 of the Constitution is very clear. The term of a president or a governor is 4 years. 4 years. The Constitution was direct. He said the president, after spending 4 years in office, vacates his office. At times, politicians behave as if they don't have any job. So when somebody says he's going to spend only 4 years, he simply stated a constitutional provision. But here is just a little addition. The Constitution says you are no longer qualified to contest if you have contested for that position twice in previous elections. And this is by section 137, subsection 1b, and section 187, subsection 1b. So the issue here is this. If you say you want to contest one term, that is your own idea. That is your own opinion. You are entitled to it. In Nigeria and in some African countries, where elections are deemed not to be free and fair, that's where you have all these unnecessary arguments. Why did I say that? Even abroad, you're not sure, even when you're an incumbent, whether if you contest, whether you will win. That is where you will know that your term of office is not 8 years, it's not 2 terms, it's 1 term. So it ought not to even be a point of argument. Because even if you are an incumbent, if you recontest, you can fail. The only thing the Constitution says is that if you fail 100 times, if you have not been elected twice, you are still qualified to be governor or president. So for me, I do not see any issue whatsoever, except, like you said, distrust of themselves, and 2, because of the belief that there is no free and fair election. If there is free and fair election, then the issue of 2 term, 8 years would not arise. But here is another issue. Because of our rotational arrangement, which has this proposition of 8 years for South, 8 years for North, politicians now do not want to place themselves in a disadvantaged position, because 4 years having been taken by a Southern politician, if you are a fresh politician and you want to do another 8 years, you will know that you are dead on arrival. So it's a political strategy on its own for you to accede that you will do 4 years. It is not because the politician did not want to do 8 years, no. But he knows that he has only 4 years left from the Southern, remaining term. But here is another issue. By agreeing you will do 1 year, you do 4 years, you have also agreed that if there is any other northerner that say he will do also 4 years, then both of you are at the same level of equity, because there would be no injustice either section. So there's nothing wrong in a party, for instance, especially an opposition party that doesn't have an incumbent, saying in order that Nigerians will be free to trust them, that they are going to have a transitional government whereby whoever is going to contest would have to agree to do one term and do not exercise his constitutional rights to recontest. A party can do that, so that whether they present a candidate from the north or from the south, the Nigerians from either section will not feel that they have been betrayed or an injustice meted out to them. For instance, if a northerner wins in another political party and commits to do 4 years, then what it means is that the south and the north has shared for 4 years, like they did during the Yaradua Goodluck Jonathan period, and there will be no injustice. So there is nothing, absolutely nothing that ought to raise concerns or arguments. But like you said, you know, a man who kills by the sword does not like people to wave sword at his back. So politicians have made themselves very untrustworthy. So they go the extra mile to prove themselves when they make any proposition.
All right, Mr. Okonkwo, that's noted. A lot of people might have focused on the what in terms of what was said, but you've drawn some focus to the why this move might have been made in terms of the rotational arrangement and being a political strategy. But let's look more, examine at the why a bit closer. Do you think there are any personal reasons that might not be overt for this declaration being made by the aspiring president of Nigeria?
No. It's purely a political strategy. There is nothing hidden about it, because every politician would want to complete his 2 terms if he has the opportunity. But of course, if this were 2023, the same politician and presidential candidate or aspirant would not make the same promise. Like I said, as it stands today, a southerner has taken 4 years. So it will be political suicide for you to come and say you want to do 8 years. Nobody will vote for you, not even from south or from the north. So it is purely a political strategy, nothing else. Anybody telling you it's because he wants to be like Mandela or want to be like this, no, that's not true. But again, the person may want to tell you that just for you to believe he will do 4 years. He may want to tell you that he can still achieve his basic objectives within 4 years. Just to encourage you to know that he is serious in not trying to exercise his constitutional right to recontest election. So there is nothing beyond political strategy. That's what it is.
All right, some political scientists will usually say that we missed a major turning point in our nascent democracy, whereby we did not see through that particular law or that particular policy that would have become law, whereby it would have been 1 year, 6 years. Do you think Nigeria would have been better off if we had decided to go down that road than trying to do 2 terms or maybe of 8 years?
Now, from day one, from 1999, I have been in support of 1-term presidency, 1-term executive tenure. And the reason is very clear. The issue of 2 terms have introduced a whole lot of politicization of Nigeria, which leads to division and balkanization, which leads to the elites manipulating the followership with religious and ethnic bigotry that is non-existent amongst them. The reason is this: all this issue of whether the president should appoint the INEC chairman will disappear on its own when you have 1-term presidency, because no president will now be able to appoint any INEC chairman that will supervise his own election. If you do 8 years of 2 terms, you don't have 2 years for yourself as a president, because you will use it politicking. So eventually, you will spend state resources, you will spend state time, you will spend the the bureaucracy of state for politics. One-term presidency will first and foremost secure the issue of rotation between North and South. And you can now make it constitutional and it will not be breached because you just have one term. And when it is one term of 6 years, you have nothing to lose if it is 2 terms of 8 years. Because you, from the one when you settle in, it is for legacy. Haven't you noticed that every president in power is always reluctant to sign electoral reforms in his first term in office? The reason is because he wants to use the jaundiced Electoral Act to rig his own election before, when he wins the second time, when he does not have any other attempt to, contest for, he will not be willing to sign Electoral Act or even constitutional amendment that would take us forward. So, but if it is one term, from the one, the president that is coming in is willing and bold enough to sign every legacy legal reforms that would have made us to be the first to be in the first superpower nation by now. Honestly, we don't have any need for 2 terms of 8 years. 1 term of 6 years would have been ideal. I supported it from 1999. I've been writing an article about it. It's quite unfortunate because since we don't have free and fair election, that is another way to push us closer to free and fair election. Because no president will be willing to have his legacy soiled internationally and nationally that he is an election rigger. So if he's not going to be the one supervising his own election, our election will get cleaner and cleaner until we get to the best time. Our economy will get stronger and stronger because he comes in immediately and he will not talk about using the resources for politics, but using it for development because he cannot use it for his own election. So it is all good, one term, politically, socially, economically, and otherwise. And everybody should please work hard so that we can have it.
Indeed, Mr. Okonkwo, you've said that you've been an advocate of this one term since 1999, giving us the reasons why, from effective governance to strengthening our democracy. But do you think, with how things look right now, if you look at all the factors in play right now, how soon do you think we'll get to a point in Nigeria where a one-term presidency will go from ideal to reality?
It can happen tomorrow. This president changed the national anthem within a week. The political will is there, but they don't want to use it for what will be good for Nigeria, for selfish reasons. Just because this president may want to do 8 years. What if God, in his own infinite mercy, terminates you and you just do only 4 years? Which one would have been better for you? So I agree with you. The time is now. Today is the best time for the constitution to be amended for that one-term presidency. And Nigeria should be willing to make any sacrifice to accommodate that one-term presidency. So it is purely, a political mess that the National Assembly, every session, they will say constitutional amendments. They will go to all the geopolitical zones. They will sow Ashobi in some of the zones, singing, hey, on mandate, on your not your mandate. And at the end of the day, you achieve nothing. We should be serious in this country. The time is now. The opposition should insist. The ruling party should insist. Nigerians should insist so that we can move forward in this country. It is lack of interest, lack of intention, lack of desire to do it. Because this president is completely in charge of the National Assembly. He's completely in charge of majority of the states. Anything he wants done can be done. But he is very, very, very bold, very, very audacious in taking wrong decisions. But the right ones, unfortunately, sorry.
All right,
the incompetence and corruption of this government is what is hindering them.
Welcome back from that wonderful clip. Guy won't be. That is his own analysis. But come to think of it, it's 4 years. It's not a bad thing. He do 4 years for Anambra State. He hand over. And he hand over everything that has to do with Anambra State to the next governor before so they come on board and everybody started kitty. All right, on top of this matter, make it. I want to place another video. May take here how Rufai interview one of the chief, Dan Oluse, who was against Peter Obi when he left Anambra. Oh, this interview sweet me. What time?
But is it fair to bring a Peter Obi into the disarray called the PDP, as the PDP is being run by Wike as we speak? Somebody that has said he can cause crisis if things don't go his way. He has caused crisis before, put you in limbo. Because as far as I'm concerned, Chief, you might want to oppose me. Wike owns PDP as we speak today. Tomorrow things might change. That's why I say you have a right. It's free speech to oppose me. Wike owns PDP today. In fact, I sang a song this morning. I said he's got the PDP in his hands. So that's where Wike stands today. So you think it's fair to bring a Peter Obi into that fray? What about the talk of Goodluck Jonathan also being mentioned in some quarters within the folk of the PDP? And you ask a question, let me play devil's advocate. You say, why are people going to the APC? They are going to the APC because APC is in power. Your party has not been in power for over how many years now? Going to 10 years or over 10 years. They are going to APC because it gives them stability. One person owns your party. APC has been able to wriggle their way through their challenges. They are going to APC because the party has the president and they feel they are on a better footing as we speak. So they are going for a better option as we speak today. The APC is a whole lot better than your party that is in disarray, that you don't even know what the future or the next thing is from. Chief, probably if people like you were approached by the APC today, you would like to go to certainty also. Is APC not certainty? Is PDP not uncertainty? As Wike stated back in the days, APC is cancer, PDP is malaria. Today, APC is malaria, PDP is cancer. What do you say to that, Chief?
Well, you have used very strong words, Rufai. I like your analysis very much. But the human behavior is not a function of statistics. In politics, most times 1 + 1 is not 2. In fact, it could be 100, and once people accept it, it becomes the official figure. So that people are leaving PDP to go to APC does not make APC any better than PDP. It shows that people have no values. That is why the country is not moving. You don't know where somebody, okay, look at the president of Senate, for instance. He was an 8-year governor of Akwa Ibom State. There are many of them like that. Recently, the whole Delta moved to APC. Akwa Ibom just moved to APC. Can you tell me as a journalist, what is it they will find in APC that they could not do in Rivers State, in Delta State or Akwa Ibom State, where as PDP governors they were performing and doing very well? So people don't have values, and when they don't have values, they are given to accepting anything that comes before them. I have been in PDP now since the inception of the party. I have not been a commissioner, not a director of anything. But most of the sensitive things they do, they invite me. I was chairman of the screening panel for Northeast in 2003. 2010, I screened the whole Northeast. Most of our governors today passed through me. These are the kind of resolve you have as a party member to make a contribution, not necessarily pecunious. There are a lot of people come into this business because they want to make money. And that is why the country is not moving. We must have to have honor and values that you cherish. If you don't have that, and like I said, somebody moving, I see the comments being made even on your station about the hunger in this country. From the time of Buhari, as far as I was concerned, that was 8 years of no governance. Nothing happened. And then President Tinubu came up, and in difference to Tinubu, I said, anybody else coming into office after Buhari would have had the same problem Tinubu is having. The only thing that he might have a different methodology to be able to iron out things. The country has slumped so much that there's no magic. You only need some level of determination to do something. And if people desire that Peter Obi, from his record as governor of Anambra State, his integrity, his honesty, he's one governor, nobody has ever pointed an accusing finger on him, positive or negative, negative. Every reference made of Peter Obi is positive. And this country requires somebody like him, at least to give hope Governance is not just about only constructing road and doing that. You give hope. Because politics depends on doses of stability. This stability we haven't seen. And it's talking paranoia.
Sir, with due respect, is this Chief Danulasi I'm talking to?
Yes.
You, the same you that spoke against Peter Obi as of 2017 that said he divided Anambra. The same you, Chief. Is it you that are speaking today glowingly about Peter Obi? Because I'm surprised.
Why don't you put me in proper perspective. I said in that interview, I think it was on this channel, that we were with him in a meeting. We had a meeting in Enugu and went to Oka, and he told us that he was desirous of being a presidential candidate. And thereafter he left the PDP and went to Labour Party. And I condemned it. If not on your station, on AIT or other stations, I condemned it. I didn't harbor that behavior, and I told him. He came to my house. I said, what you did was, unfortunate. But still, even though he did that and I didn't like it, he had the right to do it. He had the right. He had the constitutional right to do it. That is how he wanted to, exhibit his interest in political leadership. But I didn't support that. So what I'm saying is not in contradiction to what I said in the past. Absolutely not. And since then, have I left PDP myself? I have not.
Okay, Chief.
But if PDP sees that as a good candidate, like you said we are cancerous now, which I don't believe. We have 10 governors. And these 10 governors can come together honestly and sincerely to see a committee that can reorganize this party. The sky will be our limit.
But Chief, no,
we can challenge the government.
Chief, you are mistaking my point. Chief, you had condemned and you had constantly, there are facts on ground that you are constantly being at loggerheads against Obi about his tenure in Anambra. So it is the same tenure that you were against in Anambra and Obi's politics in Anambra that you are praising him today, that is a man of integrity and all of that. I'm asking you, Chief, what changed? That's all I'm asking.
Can I put it to you?
Put it to me, Chief.
Excuse me, I put it to you. What you are saying is fallacy of generalization. I have never condemned Peter Obi's governorship in Anambra State.
Okay, Chief,
if you present that fact, I will resign today from political process in this country.
Chief.
No, excuse me, Dr. Ruben.
No.
He cannot put into my mouth what I did not say. I've never condemned Peter Obi.
Anyway, Chief,
yes,
look, as a human being, as a citizen, you have the right to change your mind, whatever the circumstance may be. After all, you started by saying there's freedom of speech. So you can like somebody today, you may not like the person tomorrow. It's within your prerogative. That's not for me a big issue. What is big issue is this. Professor Jerry Ghana says Mr. Peter Obi will be happily received back into the fold of the PDP. Now, you know Nyesom Wike very well. It's Minister Nyesom Wike who gives conditions in the PDP. Will he be willing to receive Mr. Peter Obi back into the fold? Because it is what he decides that matters. And you are talking about November convention. When Wike has said there are conditions on the basis of which that convention can hold. Why are you so sure?
Well, Dr. Bassi, you have known me since you worked with Jonathan. You know I'm not somebody who talks from both sides of my mouth. What I have in my mind, I say it and I defend it. I've never played a second fiddle. I gave you a background why I find it difficult to condemn Wike because of the antecedents of what happened in 2023. I had said this, and I don't see why it should be confusing to anybody. He felt that he was short-changed, and therefore he had to react the way. Maybe I would not have reacted the same way up to now. And the party lost out. Part of the committee we set up in Abuja in PDP now is to see how most of our governors were there. Wike is not a magician. Politics is not magic. The party took a decision on a number of items without Wike's input. He wasn't in the meeting, and 7 of our 10 governors were there, effectively discussing how this party can move forward. So the concept that because Wike is helping the party, in this country, people only come to party when there is election. Unfortunately. But people who regularly foot the bills, especially we have only 10 states now. We are paying staff salaries in all the states. Somebody has to do that. Somebody has to assist. And people are not interested until the election comes. They all run and pay 50 million, 30 million to want to be president or governor of this. That is not party management. That is why the country is not moving forward. There must be loyal members of the party seen in situ to be working for the survival of that party. Not just about election. Ultimately, if election comes and the party is organized, they will win. But if the party is not organized, there's no magic about their winning. So what I'm saying is that's why I laid the foundation of what happened in 2023, why Wike behaved the way he did. I'm not justifying it, but he has a right to do what he did. Because if Atiku did not run, and Wike or somebody else appeared in the south, like Tinubu appeared in the south, we would have had either Wike or Ugwuanyi or some presidency from the south. But unfortunately, Tinubu had a chance and became president, and is running for a second term. So I don't see where what I have said is any contradictory. Absolutely not.
As I come back from that wonderful clip of Rufai, Rufai, you said try to forget things now. This is the best, one of the best interview I've ever seen so far. In fact, the matter be like say your enemy we can't turn friend by fire by force where they no fit kill you. 90 matter be. All right, on top of this matter, Barrister Darlington also don't come talk you know. Say that he doesn't like the way Soludo is talking since this day. Say no like him. And in fact, make Peter Obi try as much as possible to keep some things ahead of time. Make the too quick, you know, understand? Watch the video, be right back.
As for Soludo, personally, I don't like the way he has been talking. If he had remained an academic, maybe he would have gone far. His coming into politics is diminishing his personality. The way he's talking, especially against opponents, is not good. Unfortunately, this statement he made, everybody is attributing it to Obi, that he was referring to Obi when he made that statement. But in his sense, he was talking to Okachukwu. Okachukwu said that he's going to run for 1 term of 4 years if he gets victory. It was in that rally that Soludonas, gave him the other side of him, or gave him a swipe by saying that, look, anybody that is saying that will now change the zoning formula in Anambra. Go and check, it was Anambra, it was specific. It will change the zoning formula in Anambra because after him, it is Anambra Central that will not take the slot.
How much of a coincidence is this? Because to see that Peter Obi also made a statement of going for a single term, where he cited Nelson Mandela and FK Kennedy and all that.
Exactly.
Now, if he's talking to Okachukwu, then why is it that the jab that he's, the swipe he's taking is coming in even when Peter Obi is talking about a single term?
Look, let me tell you, Peter Obi spoke too soon. You should have been second. As long as your name is not mentioned in FINA, don't go about you are ascribing what is not to yourself.
How soon, Barrister? How soon?
How soon? How?
Yes. How soon? He said Peter Obi
he spoke too soon. Yeah, he should have remained silent since his name was not mentioned.
No, but Peter Obi, this is not the first time Peter Obi is saying this, Barrister Darlington.
That
Atiku Abubakar also said something that he should go for. But we're saying this, Barrister Darlington.
So welcome back from that wonderful clip. You see, the truth remains that I just think, or I realized that I studied Peter Obi to an extent that he's a man that follows rule of law. He wants things to be done the way it's supposed to be done. He wants to follow the constitution, the rules and regulations which guide the country. He doesn't want to violate it because he's not he not be wuru wuru wara wara. You know what I mean? He's not a monger. Not be chop 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 chop. He has businesses. Not people who want to die for seats. When your time reach pass, make another person enter. Don't be. It's not a family inheritance. So that everybody with different idea go they bring down to the country go better. Nobody say, I must do 8 years, I must do 15 years, I must do 30 years. No, we could learn to the follow. And I think most Nigerians they learn from Peter Obi because the man is a real icon. If they tell us the way things supposed to orderliness, now it's supposed to be orderliness. Now it's supposed to be sometimes junction. You can put it on make it not be like say, now let me to back to man.
Bóyá sanwó mi, tó bá tètè sanwó mi, màá fi mọ́ ẹ̀fọn fèrè, tó bá tètè.